All right. First, let me share my slide. As usual, the slide can be downloaded from your UTM e-learning. Just look for journal indexing. Okay. So let me my screen is it? Okay. Can you see my PowerPoint slide?
Oh.
Can you see my
Yes,
Yeah.
slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The title
sir.
is actually journal indexing system. Okay, but if you want to be a prolific writer, because you need to write journal, you need to write your thesis. To be a prolific writer, it doesn't mean you need to have the best supervisor in the world, all the equipment, okay, the best topic. No, the first thing you need to have is journal indexing system. That's one you need to master. That's why you are here. Okay, so basically, yes.
Could you please record this session?
Why you want me to record the session when I said I have recorded the session? I am recording the session.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. Sorry.
If you have followed from my first session, if you go to my UTM e-learning, you know that I am the person who always record my session and put it up on your UTM e-learning. It's okay. Thank you for reminding me. But I just said I am recording the session. It's like 30 seconds ago. You drive me crazy.
Sorry. Sorry,
It's okay.
Professor.
It's okay. Because I still feel the wrath when in this morning, this student asked me, where is the link? You just need to scroll up. Just use one finger. Just scroll up. You see the links. Okay. It's good to live your life in this world currently because all the technologies. But okay. 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 Deep breath. Okay. For your information, I am recording this session, okay? And then I will later upload to UTM e-learning. So don't worry. Okay. So what is journal indexing? First, before we go to the indexing system, so basically in general, why when, let's say you are the publisher, you publish or the owner of a journal, these days, unlike 50 years ago, 40 years, 30 years ago, even when I did my master by research back in year 2000, journal indexing was important, but it was merely a journal indexing system. It's just a system. It used as a platform for researchers like me, just to look or to find any manuscripts that relate to my research, to our research. As simple as that. But these days, journal indexing system has become more than that. It's become more complicated. Okay. So 2000 years ago, sorry, back in year 2000, when I want to find a journal, so I will use a tool developed by this journal indexing system owner, so that it will ease the process of finding a particular set of papers, manuscript, just by having a number of keywords. So it will speed up the process, okay? It will simplify the process, and it will give you less headache, because you have this filtering process. You just type the keyword, it will filter the papers. You can filter the papers by year, by countries, as simple as that. At that time, I mean, we are talking about 21 years ago, I didn't expect that journal indexing system will grow just from a simple search database into tools that use globally, not just as a database, but also tool used to give more information regarding the performance of the journal, the citation, or even the authors. And this has been used by the governments to evaluate their local universities, okay? And at the same time, this owner of the journal database now makes more money. Previously, they makes more money, they made a lot of money based on the subscription, okay? Subscription. The library of each university need to subscribe to their database before their staff or student can use that. That's how they make money. These days, they have different business model, okay, that can generate a lot of money. I will talk later about that. So, but in the end, why publisher wants their journal to be indexed in not all database, but in specific database that has been worldwide recognized, okay, because in order for them to be known as an authoritative source of scientific information, okay, to tell people that their journal is available, to improve the visibility, availability, and to improve the readership and the reputation of the journal, they need journal database. Without this database, if you just publish your own title of journal and this journal is not indexed, it's very hard for the readers to locate, to find your journal. Okay. Long time ago, that wasn't a problem. Why that was not a problem? Because long time ago, each journal can stand alone, okay, can be a standalone journal, because only small group of researchers, okay, they have their own groups that look after this journal and use this particular journal as a reference point. It wasn't meant for global outreach. Okay, it just within the small community. Let's say you have interest in quantum mechanics, so this group of professors or all these wise men in quantum mechanics, they publish their papers in their own journals. Okay, so because that wasn't an issue to be a global at that time, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. Okay, but now everything has been globalized. Okay, and the only way for their journal to be more visible, has greater readerships and availability, is by getting their publication index by one or more leading databases, because there are so many databases available, thousands of databases. For instance, in Malaysia, of all databases exist in this world, only 2 are recognized. Only 2. Not just in Malaysia. Globally, most of the countries only recognize 2 databases. One is Scopus, owned by Elsevier. The second is Web of Science, okay, owned by Clarivate Analytics. Previously owned by Thomson Reuters. Now it's known as a Clarivate Analytics. Okay. So why journal indexing is essential? Of course, the accessibility. Okay. The accessibility. Yeah. Of course, to improve the reputation. All right. So it will become a database research and increase journal readership. As simple as that. So I am currently managing 2 journals. I am the editor-in-chief of Malaysian Journal of Civil Engineering. This journal is not indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, but indexed in other database. But we are in the process of having our journal MJCE indexed in Scopus later in the future. And another journal is ASEAN Engineering Journal. I'm the editor-in-chief, and this, we call it AEJ, is currently indexed in Scopus. So feel free to submit your manuscript to our journal. You can go to the UTM Penerbit Press. I'm also the section editor of Journal Technology, and also another Scopus Index journal owned by UTM. Okay. Currently in UTM, we have like 27 journal, and of these 27, 3 are currently indexed by Scopus. The rest indexed by Web of Science, but not under Science Citation. That means that they do not receive any impact factor. Okay. So we only have 3 out of 27 journals indexed in Scopus, and I involved in 2 of these 3 Scopus index journal. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So how does indexing works? Let's say you have a journal, okay, and then you want this journal to be indexed, okay. So basically, you just need to apply. Let's say you want to be indexed in Scopus, so you just apply. So and then the Scopus will evaluate will assess the performance of your journal. They want to see how frequent your publication is in a year. So if you only publish like 2 issues per year, then you will have a slim chance. Or if your journal is too regional, means that the papers, most of the papers are coming from the local universities, for instance, Malaysia. So it's not globally, globally recognized, then another slim chance. Or the journal does not use open journal system. Professional interface, a website. Okay, there are many reasons for your application to be rejected. Okay, and this database, for instance, like Scopus and Web of Science, they only provide, okay, the database actually index the title and they give you the abstract, not the full article. Because sometimes students complain to me, say that I'm looking for this particular journal. I want to download the journal. I go to the Scopus, I go to the Web of Science. I cannot download the papers. Instead, they ask me to, when I click for the full paper, they direct me to the publisher and I have to pay. Yes, because Scopus and Web of Science, actually, they are database that allow you to search for any particular topics, title, and they provide the database, they provide the abstract, okay, just abstract. So if you want to get the full copy, you have to purchase. Or you can go to, if the university, for instance, UTM, we subscribe to Science Direct. Okay, Science Direct is another tool. Scopus is a index citation tool. So they provide all these search tools so that you can find the journal. The title of the manuscripts belong to which journal and the abstract. But if you want to get a copy of this manuscript, you have to go to the Science Direct, another tool subscribed by our universities. And if it just happened that that particular journal is part of the subscription, okay, by UTM, then you can download that paper from Science Direct. Basically, Science Direct is a marketplace like Amazon, but instead of selling physical items, they sell papers, lot of papers. And how many papers can be accessed depends on how much UTM paid. Okay, if let's say there are 1 million topics, and UTM decided only to subscribe to only 100,000 journals. So means that you can only access this 100,000 journal in Science Direct. Okay, so after this, don't go to your supervisor, cry, because you said that you have done your best. You have searched all these manuscripts you have found in Scopus, in Web of Science, but you are not able to download it. Of course, to download you have to go to another subscription services, which is the Science Direct. Okay, just go to the Science Direct. All right. So, and for your information, some of the database are owned by the publishers itself. If you remember Scopus, may I know who is the owner of the Scopus? Do you know? Who's the owner of the Scopus?
No, sir.
Elsevier.
Elsevier. Okay.
Yes. Elsevier is a publisher, but then they have Scopus database. Then, of course, not all, but most of their journal published by Elsevier is now in Scopus, but not also Elsevier, but other publishers like Springer, okay, Emerald. So because they say that Scopus is a database, okay, it's owned by Elsevier, but you are welcome. You are welcome to have your journal indexed in our Scopus for free. You don't have to pay, as long as you can fulfill the requirements set by the Scopus. Okay, so Scopus owned by Elsevier. How about Web of Science? Who owns the Web of Science? It's a Clarivate Analytic. What is the nature of this company? They are not publisher. Credit Analytic is a company that deal with information related to publication. They do all this kind of analysis. They are data analytic companies. They do not publish journal. Sorry. Okay. So regardless of the nature of the business of the owner of the database, you still need to formally apply. Okay. You don't have to pay. Everything is free. If your journal can pass all the requirements, then your journal will be put up in their database, and then it will be instantly available, visible. All right. Any questions so far regarding the general concept of journal indexing? Okay, if there is no question, then I know some of you might wondering. When I did my PhD back in 2002, okay, no, I mean, most of the supervisors will not push you to publish papers. Normally, they will ask you to publish papers after you graduate. Why? So that you can make the information available. That is the best way to disseminate the knowledge. And you have a pure intention at that time. But these days, just one day after you register and met your supervisor, he or she will say, you have to publish one paper this semester, another 2 papers next semester, another 25 papers third semester, and hopefully by 6th semester, I hope you can publish 250 papers for me. Okay? Am I right? 250 papers. Do you have that kind of experience? It's all about paper all the time. Every time you meet with supervisors, okay, so, Usman, can you write a paper for me? I just simply registered this morning, sir. It's okay. It's a review paper. Am I right? Review paper. Then you write the review paper. Okay. During my time, the supervisor asks you to write a paper for conference so that he can go with you to the conference, expand the networks, and have a fun while doing PhD. But these days, conference is just other things, okay? Journals is more important, and not all journal that is currently indexed in certain database. Have you ever wondered why? Do you know why? Do you want to know why? Why the
Yes,
supervisor
bro.
are super demanding? Okay, because these days, the index, I mean the database has been used, okay, by our government, not just by our government, but also other governments. But in this case, Malaysia, Ministry of Higher Education use 2 databases, which is Corpus and Web of Science, to evaluate the university's performance assessment as a research university. There are many criteria, okay, and one of the criteria, which is section C, is the quantity and quality of research publication. Okay, so it means that in order for UTM to be recognized as research universities, they have to maintain their performance, the marks. Okay, we have marks from 0 to 100. So we need to maintain like 80, above 80, so that we can keep receiving the additional funds to do research. All right. So under section C, if you look here, okay, there are many type of journals that has different weightage of marks. Okay. First, we have non-index publication. Non-index means that whatever publication that you have published in a journal, but that is not indexed in predefined database, then it will be considered as a non-index. Even though it's indexed, let's say, I have this journal index in China index database or China citation index. But then our government do not recognize that, so that you will receive a very small marks. For instance, one journal published in a non-index publication, you will receive like 0.0001 marks. Okay. Then we have other database that the government recognize, especially for social science student and lecturers. For instance, excellence of research for Australia. Yes, then you have certain marks, okay? But most of the time, the marks is highly dominated by publication in journal, index, Scopus, and this one. What is that? SCI, SCIE, SSCI, okay? By Clarivet Analytic, and the more marks goes to journal with Q1 and Q2, quartile Q1. If you publish in MJCE, MJCE will be placed under Malaysian Citation Index. So it's greater than non-index publication. If you have your paper published in proceeding, and this proceeding is indexed in Scopus and CPCI, it will go to this part. So the mark is less than here and here, because proceeding can never supersede, the mark for proceeding can never supersede Scopus or Clarivet Analytics, SCI. So then the government used this marking scheme to evaluate universities, so that the universities pass down this exercise to evaluate the school and also evaluate the individual. Okay. Individual assessment means that if we want to get promoted from senior lecturer to associate to professor, we need to write papers a lot in, especially in SCI, Q1, Q2, and Scopus. If you publish a lot of your papers in non-index publication or Malaysian Citation Index or in proceedings, you have a slim chance to get promotion, to get the promotion, slim chance. That's why your supervisors, in order for them to maintain a good yearly appraisal marks, they have to ask you to publish papers. Don't blame them. This is the current system. 20 years ago, it's not. 20 years ago, publishing in conference was considered as excellent achievement. But these days, even you publish a lot in journal or even in SCI, people keep asking, is it Q1 or Q2? Oh, it's not Q1, it's not Q2. So, you are nobody. Okay. Any questions so far? Now you know why journal indexing is a super hot topic, because it affects everybody. It affects students. Other local universities in Malaysia, they have put this condition for the PhD student to submit their thesis. Don't be surprised. You are very lucky to be in UTM. Other local universities, it's compulsory for you to publish 2 Q1 and Q2 papers. You cannot have your viva session, or you can have your viva session, but you cannot have the Senate letter. You have to wait 2 years, 3 years, 4 years until you have 2 published Q1, Q2 papers. See, different universities, different policies. Are we going into that direction? Maybe in the future. But currently, you are very lucky because SPS just asks you to publish in one index journal, which is Scopus, minimum Scopus 1. Okay? Any questions so far? If you want to ask. This is very important topic. Any question? No question? Okay, very good. Okay, so let me erase. So,
Sorry, sir.
yeah, yes. Yes.
Within the 5 charts, the others, what does that mean? What type of
There are no orders. I just put this is just there is no orders. But if you ask me, of all these 2 receive the highest marks. That's why the lecturers wants to have this to fulfill the KPI of having paper published in Web of Science, SCI, okay, under Q1 and Q2 with impact factor and also Scopus, okay. So these are the two most rated database recognized by Malaysian government, but not just Malaysian government, but globally, okay.
Okay.
And minimum that you need to achieve before you can submit, if I'm not mistaken, because different batch has different requirement. But I'm not sure what is the latest requirement for you to submit your thesis. One index journal, am I right? One index journal. Correct me if I'm wrong. What is the requirement? Do you know?
Minimum of one.
One index journal, am I right?
Yes.
Because in UTM, when it said one index journal means Scopus or Web of Science SCI, okay, with impact factor, okay, or without impact factor if it's under SCI, SCIE. I will explain later. But if you only have your papers published in conference, even conference proceeding, even though that proceeding is indexed in Scopus, then you have to refer back to SPS. Probably it will be rejected, okay? Or you have papers published in MJCE. Long time ago, a previous batch, even MJCE is still accepted. But these days, you have to check with SPS. When they said index journal, okay, previously, like 5 years ago, as long as you publish one in journal that is referred and refereed. Referred and refereed means that the journal use peer review process like MJCE. Yes, then the paper will be accepted. But then they have upgraded to index journal. Index means that the one that is recognized by Malaysian government. Scopus, clarivate analytics. Today I'm going to talk about Scopus and Web of Science clarivate analytics so that you will understand. Okay.
So I have
How
a question,
much?
sir.
Yeah.
So, can you give us the examples of non-index journal?
Whatever publication that is, actually there is no non-index publication in general. But from our government perspective, from UTM perspective, whatever journal that is not indexed in Scopus or SCI or MySite or in ERA, okay, that is considered non-index publication. In reality, there is no such non-index publication. Do you understand that? For instance, that particular journal that published your paper was indexed by ASEAN Citation Index. But ASEAN Citation Index is not recognized by our government. So then it will be considered as non-index publication. Do you understand? Am I answering your question?
Yes. Then the second question, sir.
Yeah.
So who are these bodies that are responsible for categorizing these journals? In
Sorry?
terms of who are these bodies? Is there
The
any
bodies.
recommended bodies in this
Okay,
in the
for
world that are
UTM,
responsible?
for UTM is our library.
Okay.
Our library has the final say. Means that every time you publish paper, then your supervisor will deposit this paper into our system and it will only be approved by our library PSZ. If you claim that this is a paper Q1 impact factor, so you need to put all this proof and the library will approve, will have the final say before it can be deposited permanently in our system because the government will come and check our system. Okay. Am I right? Okay. Am I answering your question?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Okay, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So how would you know if a paper has gone through a peer review?
Normally when the paper said that each manuscript will be sent to reviewer, then that is considered as a referred and refereed journal, a peer review session. Yeah. But actually, if you ask me, all legit publication or journal will require peer review process. Because when this journal wants to be indexed in whatever journal indexing system, not just simply Scopus or the Web of Science Clarified Analytics, one of the requirement is they need to show that the peer review process is on the table. Without peer review process, I believe no journal indexing system will accept the submission of any journal that without peer review process. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes.
The Science Direct and the Scopus, which is the higher impact factor?
Sorry, Science Direct is not journal database. That's why you are here. Science Direct is Amazon. It's a marketplace.
Yeah.
Also owned by Elsevier, so that they can sell the paper, the full copy of paper. Okay. Elsevier also owns Scopus. Scopus is the journal citation index. But you cannot get the full paper from there. You have the links, but you cannot download papers. To download, you have to go to the Science Direct. Science Direct also owned by Elsevier. This is a marketplace. It's like eBay. It's like Lazada. It's like Shopee in Malaysia, or Amazon, where you can buy, purchase, as long as the institution has subscribed. And the subscription is based on how many journal, how many title that the university wants. The more the more titles of the publication that subscribed by universities, the more money the university has to pay to the Science Direct. Okay.
Actually, I have submitted, published 2 journals in renewable and sustainable energy reviews. So I did in masters. So it's in a Science Direct.
Science, as I said, Science Direct is a marketplace. You have to check whether your papers is listed in Scopus or Web of Science. Science Direct is not journal citation index database. You have to understand that.
Okay, understood.
Clear? Just because you cannot tell people, I have papers in Science Direct. Of course, that is where people can sell their manuscript. The publisher. But if you want to know whether your paper has been published in a journal that indexed by Scopus or Web of Science, you cannot just simply say that just is available in Science Direct, even though most of the papers available in Science Direct is actually indexed by Scopus or Web of Science or both. Yes, the chances is highly likely. Okay, but you cannot refer to Science Direct. Okay, and you cannot put that in your CV. Okay, if you put that in your CV, it will give bad impression. It shows that you don't have a good understanding. I mean, after you finish your PhD, if you are doing PhD and you still confused, it's okay because it's a learning process. But once you graduate, do not go to the interview session say that I have 20 papers in Science Direct listed in Science Direct website. No, this will give such a bad impression. Okay, so okay, good for you to ask this question so that I can clarify. Any more question? It's a learning process. As I told you, this is a very important topic because sometimes the supervisors do not explain to you in detail because you have to learn by yourself. Okay. All right. If there is no question.
Scopus.
Yes.
It's in Scopus.
Sorry.
I mean, my paper is in Scopus.
Okay. Then it's Scopus. Then the Scopus it is. And good for you. Okay. So you can put in your CV under Scopus Index Journal. Okay. In your CV, you can split into Scopus and Web of Science, SCI, Science Citation Index. If it is indexed in both, then this journal you place under Science Citation Index because Science Citation Index is much has a much greater reputation and also acceptance and also weightage as compared to Scopus. Okay, not just in Malaysia but globally. All right. Okay, so now we go one by one. First, Scopus. Okay, Scopus by Elsevier. Elsevier is publisher, okay, and then they own Scopus. This is how they make money. There are many ways they can make money, okay. Now they have Scopus. So if the universities wants to subscribe to Scopus, they have to pay to Elsevier. Why the university needs Scopus? So that they have the engines that can filter the search. That was a long time ago. But now they do not just simply offer the search engine, but they also offer the information on the citation. Aha. They can tell UTM, for instance, if you pay us, we can do some data analytic works. We can tell what is the performance of universities, how much paper has your staff published, how much impact that your staff has received, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Means that we are talking about big data here. Okay? Big data. Long time ago, it was just simply a search engines. Now they analyze the data and they sell the information. And the university needs the information because it is part of the requirement set by the government. Okay. So we are so crazy with all this information. Okay. So first we go to Scopus. Okay. When you ask me between Scopus and Web of Science, Science Citation Index with impact factor, which one is more has a greater impact? Okay, it's quite complicated to answer that question. Okay, why? For Web of Science, they have, if you ask me, still I can say that Science Citation Index, having more papers in Science Citation Index will give you greater mileage as compared to only in Scopus. Greater mileage. Okay. For instance, if you want to be a professor, you need to have 30 impact factor papers. So if you have 100 papers only published in Scopus Index Journal, you cannot be a professor in UTM or in other universities. So if you ask me in terms of the individual assessment as a lecturer or even as student, if you want to apply for a job as a lecturer, having your paper published in Web of Science, especially under SCI, Science Citation Index, with impact factor, that will give you greater advantage and mileage. Okay. But in terms of global, how to say this? When you look at Scopus and you compare with Web of Science, Scopus is more dominant in terms of the number of journals available in their index. Okay. So currently they have 75. Okay, you see they have 75 million content records. More than Web of Science. Journal title itself 24,000 something. Book they have 194,000. 5,000. Sorry, what happened? Okay, they have 7.5 conference papers. So Scopus is more dominant than Web of Science. Why? Because if you want to know, it's more dominant because of the world ranking. This is the answer if you ask me. For your CV, Web of Science give you greater mileage. But for the university, the world ranking, because do you know the world ranking system? QS, TH, all these ranking provider, okay, part of the marks that is based on research performance, the information is provided by Scopus. See? So means that the more papers you have in Scopus, the more citation you have by Scopus Index Journal, the better your ranking is. Why all these ranking provider prefer Scopus rather than Web of Science? Because Scopus has much larger database. The larger database, the more information can be generated, the more comprehensive, the more reliable the ranking is. Okay, so that's my answer if you ask me which one is the best. Okay, individually you need more Web of Science paper with impact factor. But globally, in terms of the world ranking system, the universities, all the information are provided by Scopus. Means that this ranking provider require information from Scopus in terms of the number of publication, the number of citation. Publication is the quantity, citation is the quality. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, if you go to Scopus, this is how you can find. So you can search the document based on the title, abstract keyword, or you can search based on author or based on the affiliation. As simple as that. Okay, you just simply type whatever the keywords, and then you can find the paper. I will show you later. I will demonstrate later how to use the Scopus engines. And as simple as it is. But if you want to download the paper, you have to go to the Science Direct. Okay. Scopus, as I previously mentioned, it has more than 5,000 publishers from 105 different countries. In total, 75 million record, and it's growing. It's growing. Okay, the numbers is quite scary. So that's why QS ranking and TH, Time Higher Education, has decided to use Scopus. Previously, for instance, TH, 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, TH refer Web of Science. But then they have moved from Web of Science to Scopus database. So this has improved Scopus reputation. But Web of Science is still relevant because, you know why? Because Web of Science has this, what we call, they have a protected, patented measurement tool known as impact factor. Okay, the name impact factor and the formula is the right is exclusive only to Web of Science and the owner of the Web of Science. Means that Scopus can use the word impact factor or even the formula to calculate the impact factor. This is how Web of Science remains relevant, because impact factor is so important, especially to the academician when it comes to promotion. It's very important to PhD graduate so that they can explain how much the impact of their PhD research towards body of knowledge in their CV. Okay. I hope you understand that. Any questions so far, if you want to ask? Okay, this is publishers. Yes, of course, it's owned by Elsevier, but only 10% of the content belongs to Elsevier. We have Springer, Wiley Blackwell, Taylor Francis, SAGE, IEEE, okay, but mostly dominated by Elsevier and Springer. Okay. And Scopus has been the gold standard because it's been referred to by 150 leading research, okay, organization, not just by universities, but also non-government organization or even government-led organization, because they need the information, the data, okay, the citation per countries, citation per institution, the impact, okay, the link, the connectivity between publications, okay. For instance, you can know, okay, your universities, okay, of all publication, which countries that has the most researchers become co-author of the papers published by your staff. All these can be acquired by your university through Scopus database. But of course, you have to pay. That's how they make money. This is what we call K economy, knowledge economy. They sell the knowledge. All right. Now we go to Web of Science. Okay, Web of Science, okay, is the name of the database. The Scopus, the name of the Scopus database is Scopus. The name of database that owned by Clarivate Analytics is called Web of Science. So basically, Web of Science is the website and the tool that can be used to access the database. Okay. But there is a there are many differences between Web of Science and Scopus, and I will explain later. Okay, so normally you have to understand that we no longer say that my papers is published in ISI. ISI was the name given back in 1950s, then changed to ISI Thomson Scientific, and then Thomson Reuters. But I think 2 or 3 years ago, Thomson Reuters has sold the citation division to Clarivate Analytics. Now it is known as Clarivate Analytics, Web of Science. So don't simply say, oh, Thomson Reuters. It will also give bad impression, especially during interview. Okay, when you say, oh, I have so many papers published in Thomson Reuters Web of Science. See, another bad impression. It's a Clarivate Analytics. And if you look at the timeline, okay, initially 1864, the first database, okay, they call it a zoological record. This database still exists, okay, and then the Biosys, all right. These are different database. So, and then ISI was founded and they own this database, okay, and then they have launched journal citation report. This is what we call JCR. JCR published the impact factor of the journal, okay. Then Thomson acquires ISI 1992, and then they launched the website, because this is where the internet was become a norm. The website is known as Web of Science, WOS. Okay. Then they launched a different citation for books. They launched the Insight, and then this what makes students confused, EACI. In 2016, Clarivate Analytics bought the divisions from the Thomson Reuters. I will explain later what is EACI. Okay. Okay. So this is quite complicated. I hope I can easily make you understand the difference between Web of Science structure and Scopus structure. In Scopus database, Scopus is like a building of library. Okay, a building of library. Imagine a library, single story building, single story. Means that there is only one entrance. You go into this building, into this library, you can only see one single floor. And then there are many sections. There are section of journals, proceeding, books. Okay, that's all. One single story. Everything in under one roof in one single story buildings. Everything is placed in the same rooms. Okay, that is Scopus. But Web of Science is different. Okay, Web of Science, imagine this, a huge buildings of libraries with so many stories. First story, second story, third story, fourth story, fifth, sixth, seventh, so on and so forth. Okay, so many stories. Okay, each story, they have different collection. Okay, different collection. All right. As opposed to Scopus. Scopus has only one story, one single story. But in the same room, they have divided the room into different sections. But Web of Science is different. Web of Science, when you try to access their database, you will notice that there are so many sub-database. These sub-database similar to different stories. Okay, different stories. Okay, so under Web of Science, there are, we call it core collection. This is core collection. This core collection is like the top story, the top two stories, or the top stories of the buildings is where you can get the most or the highest quality journal. We call it core collection. And if you go to the top story, there are many sections. Okay, there are many sections. But just because all the journal is available at the top story, it doesn't mean all it can be treated equally. You know why? Because under Web of Science core collection, only journal placed under Science Citation Index, SCI, or Social Science Citation Index, ASCI, will receive what I call impact factor. See? You go to the top story to get the best journal, but when you go to the top story, you notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 sections. And of these 6 sections, only 2 sections receive impact factor. That's why many students come to me, they say, I have published in a journal indexed in Web of Science, but I receive no impact factor. And then I ask the student, just because it is, the journal said that their title is indexed in Web of Science, it doesn't mean it will receive impact factor. But the student keep arguing. He said, as long as it's in Web of Science, it will receive impact factor. I said, no. The answer is no. Okay. You have to understand that the only title the title of the journal that receive impact factor is the title index under Science Citation Index and Social Science Citation Index. When I ask this student what kind of index that this journal is registered under Web of Science, he said Emerging Source Citation Index, ESCI. I said yes. Your papers is now available in Web of Science. That's why you can show off on your Instagram. I have papers in Web of Science. Yes, correct. But then when you look for the impact factor, there is none. Why? Because ESCI, even though it's part of core collection, but it will not receive any impact factor because it's not part of SCI and SSCI. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? If you want to know whether the journal published has impact factor, normally they will declare that our journal is indexed in Science Citation Index or Social Science Citation Index, SSCI or SCI. They will not mention Web of Science. If the publication say that we are indexed in Web of Science, then you need more information. But normally, they say that like that because they want to make you confused. Why confused? Because they know that majority of the student doesn't know that just because the title is currently listed in Web of Science, it doesn't mean it will receive impact factor. Okay. Same goes to other student comes to me. I have presented my papers at one of the conference and later it has been published in their proceeding, and the proceeding, the publisher said that their proceeding is currently indexed in Web of Science. Yes, correct. The publisher did not scam the student, but the student did not understand the CPCI or Conference and Proceeding Citation Index, even though it's part of core collection, it received no impact factor. Okay. Now we are talking about top stories. Then other stories, they have, you go from 7 to 6th floor, then you find innovation index. You go to the 5th floor, you have CAP abstract, food center, you abstract. Then 3rd floor, okay. And another thing that makes Web of Science quite unique is other journal indexing system that is less established can ask the Web of Science to house their citation index. For instance, Russian citation index, Korean citation index is less visible, or Chinese citation index. Then they pay Web of Science so that Web of Science, they can use the Web of Science tool to house their own citation index. The latest one is Arabic Regional Citation Index. See, that's how Web of Science makes a lot of money. Okay. Means that you go to the Web of Science library, there are so many stories. You need to find the right story. Okay. And even you go to the right story, you need to find the right section so that you will get the manuscript with impact factor. Any question to ask? Of all these, which one is more relevant? Of course, this one. And since your engineering is a Science Citation Index, SCI or SCIE expander. If every time you want to publish in any journal, make sure the journal say that they are indexed in SCI or SCIE. Any questions so far? Please ask. I know you are confused currently, confused by all of these terms. Any question?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yes.
So that impact factor that you made mention,
Yes.
if a journal has an impact factor, what is the
Yes.
difference between one that has no impact factor? Is it in
Impact.
terms of ranking or in terms of
Yes. Let's say you come to my interview, you want to be a lecturer. Okay. If you have paper with impact factor, okay, this is how academic community perceive impact factor. Impact factor is the formula created by Thomson Reuters, patented, even the name and the formula. This is the best tool available, not the most accurate or the most reliable, but the best tool that can quantify the impact. The impact. Okay. Scopus lost the game initially because they only have the search system, but they do not provide any tool to calculate the impact. That's the mistake made by Scopus initially. Okay.
now
So, yeah.
what of the like Q1 journals? All
Okay.
Q1 journals have impact factor, or can
Okay.
can I have
Q,
impact factor
Q.
for
Do you know
two
what is
journals?
Q? Q means quartile.
Okay,
Quartile.
yes.
Okay. Scopus has quartile. Scopus has impact factor as well, but not recognized by UTM, by our government. Okay. Other countries, they may recognize, but globally, everybody talk about impact factor. Scopus has its own impact factor, but they cannot call it impact factor because the names, the right is belongs to the Clarivate analytic. They call it site score. If you go to Scopus, if you look for impact factor, you can give a try, but trust me, there is no wording impact factor. It's a site score. It uses different formula, but it goes to the same direction to calculate the impact. Okay, but then like 10 years ago, when people talk about impact factor, people don't care about quartile. Then people question. Let's say I have papers and my impact factor is 4.3 and your paper is 1.6. So I am better than you. That's what had happened in the past. People keep comparing the impact factor. And then the community argue because impact factor is calculated based on the citation. And if you are, for instance, in civil, if your field is environmental engineering, of course you will receive much higher citation because environmental engineering is very close to our daily life. So many people involved in environmental engineering, as opposed to let's say you are doing finite elements on micro cracking of concrete, which nobody care. See, so you receive less citation. Does that means your research is crap? No, just the impact factor the calculation of impact factor based on the citation received. So then they come out with a solution. Okay, impact factor cannot be compared side by side. But now we use quartile. Quartile means that, for instance, let's say the first student said that he is the best researcher because his impact factor is much higher. Okay, but then because his journal is 4.6, for instance, impact factor. But then what Web of Science do? Okay, this journal, environmental engineering, is placed under category environmental engineering. And in Web of Science, there are 1,000 journals under Web Environmental Engineering. So first quartile means that the first 250 journals top ranking, they arrange the list of the journal under environmental engineering. Okay, they list from the highest impact factor to the lowest impact factor. And it happened that for this particular student, I call it student A, okay, his journal 4.6 impact factor, quite high. But in terms of ranking, his journal is placed bottom, let's say, well, ranking 646. 646 means that if you have 1,000 journal, okay, 1 to 250 is what we call first quartile, the top quarter of the ranking. 251 to 500, this is Q2, so on and so forth. Then we go to the student B. Student B said that, so okay, the student A, even though impact factor is high, but the quartile is Q3, okay, 501 to 750. So it's Q3 for this student. So student A, Q3, even though impact factor is 4.6. Okay, but student B, impact factor only 1.4. But then there are only 10 journals that are focusing on finite element microstructure. And of these 10 journal, his journal placed at second spot, number 2. So of 10 journals, 1 to 2.5, we got 2.5 is Q1. So that this student has Q1 journal, even though the impact factor is 1.6. Am I answering your question? That's what I call quartile.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now do you understand? So
Yes.
means that you cannot compare impact factor because each area has different weightage. So now we use the quartile. Okay. First, you need to get the impact factor publication. Then we look at quartile. So there is no point for us lecturers that has so many publication in impact factor journal, but all the journals are categorized below third quartile, Q3 and Q4 only. So there is no point. That is the current demand, the current KPI set by universities. 10 years ago, okay, 15 years ago, scopus only. You have scopus, then you are good. Then it must be impact factor. Then impact factor with Q1 and Q2. Can you see the progress? All right. Any more question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the way that Scopus call their impact factor Qs, I don't know, maybe you need to write it for us so that we can see it clearly.
Yes, it has everything on the slide. But I have not yet reached to that point.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. All right.
You know me, I'm the best lecturer in my house because I'm the only one lecturer here.
Yes, sir.
But thank you for the comment.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the
Thank you, sir.
comment. Okay.
Yes.
I have everything here. Don't worry.
Sir.
Wait, let me show you. Okay. All right. Okay. One more thing before we continue the Q&A. If you go to Web of Science, you see there are so many databases. Scopus, how many database? Only one. Okay. Scopus, there's only one database, but different section. But under Web of Science, there are so many databases. You can see this is core collection. Impact factor is in this collection, but not all. Okay. Then we have biological abstract, biosys, Chinese citation database, zoological record. This is the old one. Russian citation index. So many. So basically, Scopus is a single story library building. Web of Science is a multiple stories library buildings. As simple as that. Okay. Okay. So any more question to ask? Any question? No? Okay. If you remember, in core collection, there are one citation index that was introduced like 5 years ago. many students confused with the word because the abbreviation is ESCI. It's quite similar to here, SCI. So the students send their papers to ESCI, hoping that it will have impact factor because it sounds quite similar, ESCI and SCI. Then they end up with being in despair. You know why? Because their papers, even though listed in Web of Science core collection, it received no impact factor. For your information, Emerging Source Citation Index, ESCI, was established by the Web of Science so that if your journal want to be accepted into this core collection SCI, first you need to park your journal under ESCI for at least 3 to 4 years before you can prove to Web of Science that your journal is worth to be indexed in Science Citation Index or Social Science Citation Index. It received no impact factor, yet it is still listed in Web of Science. You can see your papers in Web of Science, but it received no impact factor. For instance, our journal technology. Our journal technology is indexed by Scopus and also WOS, but under ESCI, means that it will receive no impact factor. Okay, many students comes to me because I am section editor. They complain, sir, you said that you are under Web of Science, but why I don't receive any impact factor? I said it is ESCI, not SCI. So be careful. So you have to be very careful. Many journals these days, especially new journals, they will declare that they are indexed in Web of Science, ESCI. They do not try to scam you, but because of the lack of your understanding on the indexing process, you wrongly, the student wrongly thought that by having their papers in ESCI means you will receive impact factor. No, it has no impact factor. Okay, so it is part of the Web of Science core collection, but no impact factor. Okay, all right. Any questions so far? ESCI. Be very careful. Any questions so far? But let's say you have one paper in ESCI. Can you use that paper as part of the submission procedure? Yes, because ESCI is under Web of Science, and Web of Science is recognized by UTM as part of the index journal. Then in terms of the condition to submit, you have fulfilled the condition. Okay, if you have say you don't have Scopus journal, but the journal that publish your paper is listed under Web of Science and in particular ESCI, yes, you can use that paper to fulfill the submission condition. Okay. I just skip this. Anything to ask? No? No questions so far? So I repeat again. This is part of the core collection, but only selective collection from the core collection will receive impact factor. Okay. Impact factor. But ESCI, even though it's under core collection, will receive no impact factor. This one is yes, impact factor. Okay. All right, I just skip this. So if you want to know why they established ESCI, because journal, if any journal wants to be indexed in core collection SCI or SCI or HCI, they have to apply for EICI in the first place. Then it will be monitored by the Web of Science before they can make a final decision. Okay, that is the process. All right. Before this, you can just simply apply submit your application so that your journal can be indexed in Web of Science. But these days you have to wait. Okay, you have to prove to Web of Science that your journal can perform well. So you have to wait for 3 to 4 years before Web of Science can fully recognize your journal. Okay. So we go to the JCR. Okay. JCR. What is JCR? So under Web of Science, you have learned that we have core collection, am I right? Core collection. But under core collection, there are with impact factor, without impact factor. And the journal that with impact factor will be reported in what we call JCR, Journal Citation Report. Okay. Currently, there are almost 9,000 plus journals, okay, science journal, and 3,000 plus social science journal reported in Journal Citation Report. Journal Citation Report, it report the performance of each journal, and it gives the measurement, which is called as impact factor. Okay. So other journal like ESCI is categorized under non-impact factor, so that it will not be included in the Journal Citation Report. Okay. So Journal Citation Report is a report, yearly report published by Web of Science, showcasing the performance of the journal in selected year. Okay. So in total, 12,000 plus. Okay. Total journals. Last year, 351 journal have made it to SCI. Okay. From ESCI. Okay. These 351 from ESCI goes into SCI. SCI. Okay. And it represents 83 countries and 236 research categories. So means that only 12,171 total journal has impact factor. Okay, clear. And mostly coming from United States. Okay, 1/3 coming from United States. Okay, so this is Scopus versus Web of Science. Okay, so Elsevier own Scopus. Web of Science, Clarivate Analytics. And status of the company, publisher, but Web of Science, data analytic. The platform is called Scopus, and this is Web of Science. And to access, it requires subscription, quite similar. But database, single and bundle product. Okay, single, they bundle everything as a single product. But for Web of Science, it's a separate database product. It has core collection, non-core collection, and even the non-core collection, some of the database actually does not directly owned by Clarivate Analytics. It owns by other database owner like Russian Citation Index, but they paid. They ran a place. They ran one story out of the 7 stories of the library building, so that they can have all the manuscript in Russia to be worldwide available. Okay, and in terms of journal metric assessment, in Scopus, every single journal is eligible for assessment. Means that every single journal in Scopus will receive site score report, similar to impact factor. But Web of Science is different. Web of Science, only journals covered by Journal Citation Report will receive impact factor. And what is the type of metric? Okay, there are many type of metrics or assessment tool. Of course, H-index, both has H-index, but the impact factor is the most relevant one, exclusive to Clarivate Analytics. They also have article influence score, AIS, eigenfactor, immediacy index, cited half-life. But I'm not going to cover all of this because in the end, the only matter is impact factor. But Scopus, they don't have impact factor. So do not go to the interview session say that my Scopus general impact factor is 2.3. The 2.3 is right, but the former was wrongly spelled. It's not impact factor, it's site score. Because impact factor is exclusive to Web of Science. And talking about journal citation report, impact factor for 2020, okay, will be published in 2021 in June. Remember? So now, if you go to any website, now it's April. If you see any impact factor, that impact factor belongs to 2019. 2019. Okay. So if you want to, if you have your papers published last year, okay, then you have to refer to 2019. If you want to reserve to 2020 impact factor, you have to wait after June. After June, all these publishers will update their impact factor. Okay, so 2021 Journal Citation Report published in June will report impact factor of the journal in 2020. You have to understand. Okay. Any questions so far? We are almost there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please ask.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Under the status for Scopus and Web of Science,
Yes.
you said Web of Science is data analytic. Are they not also publishers too?
No. Clarivate Analytic, the company, the nature is they do data analytic. That's the nature of their business. Okay. Elsevier, they do data analytic, but their nature of business is they are publisher.
Okay.
Yeah. You understand the nature of their business?
Okay. Thank you.
The status means the status of the owner. Okay, not the status of the tools, the scope of science, the status of the owner. Elsevier is publisher, but of course they have different division. They have a division or publishing journal. They have a data analytic division. They have so many divisions. But Elsevier is known as publisher. But Clarivate Analytic, they are not publisher. They are not publishing any journal. They are focusing on data analytic, big data. Okay. Next question. Thank you for asking.
Welcome.
Any question, please ask. You have to understand this. Even some of the lecturers still confuse the difference between Scopus and Web of Science. There are thousands of journal indexing system, but why I focus on Scopus and Web of Science? Because they are the only two that are currently recognized and has greater impact to the performance of universities and also academicians. Okay, yes, what's the question?
So can you repeat that journal citation report, the explanation?
Okay. Journal citation report is a report published by Web of Science in June. Okay. In this journal citation report, it will mention the impact factor of whatever journal that is listed under Science Citation Index, Social Science Citation Index. Okay. Clear? For instance, like this.
Yes.
Okay. Only journal listed under Science Citation Index will receive impact factor based on the report in JCR. Okay, in JCR. So if your journal is not in the JCR but is in core collection, it means it will not receive any impact factor. For instance, emerging source citation index. Our journal technology is currently listed in ESCI and is part of the core collection, but it is not part of the JCR report. Okay, this is not. That's why it receives no impact factor. Am I answering your question?
Yes.
Okay, it's just simply a report. But for Scopus, they are super kind. Okay, if you go to the Scopus, whatever journal, whatever the publication, the journals, not the paper, but the journal, if you click, you can check the impact factor of the journal, but they call it site score. They are so kind, means that they treat everybody equally. See, Scopus is more friendly to each publication. So they do not divide and conquer. They say, okay, as long as you are in our database, everybody will receive the assessment. But Web of Science say that, okay, you are part of our team, but only certain of you will receive marks based on your performance. The rest, you just stay there and keep quiet. Something like that. Am I answering your question?
Yes.
All right, good. And remember, journal citation report will only be published in June every year. Okay, so that it will show the impact factor of the previous year. Of course, because the citation must be counted from January to December of that particular year. And then they need another 6 months of the next year to do the assessment. That's why 2020 impact factor will only be published in June 2021. Okay, clear. Any questions so far?
Yes, sir. Please, I want to talk on H index one more time, sir.
Yes, yes. Please ask.
H
What's your-
index, H index, H index, sir.
Can you repeat your question?
Okay, I need more clarity on H index.
Each index, clarity. What kind of clarity?
H index.
OH index.
Yes.
As I told you, I am the best lecturer at home now. I'm the only lecturer here. You asked the right question, but wrong time, because the next topic is journal metrics, citation impact, including H index. Okay? Am I answering your
All right,
question?
sir. Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, yes. I will explain H index.
Thank you.
See, I can read your mind. I can read your mind. I have prepared all the material before you ask.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
the best lecturer in this particular area because I'm the only lecturer. So I'm the best. Okay. So we go to uh, now the next topic, the last one is journal metrics. Okay. I hope we can stop 11:30. We stop 11:30 and will continue 2:30. 2:30 there will be consultation process because okay. So now I'm talking about the citation impacts. Okay, this is merely a tool to measure the impacts. Okay, we are talking about impact factor, site score, and also H index. All right. Okay, so there are many different metrics available by Scopus and by Web of Science. Okay, eigenfactor, article influence, quartile, journal impact factor, site score, H index. But the most referred one is first journal impact factor, okay, and H index as part of the profiling process. The rest, just to complement the existing impact factor and H index, just to complement. But in the future, maybe there is a possibility that other metrics that is more reliable but less popular will overtake the impact factor. Okay, for instance, the SNIP is getting the momentum. Okay, worldwidely, academician they prefer SNIP because SNIP is more reliable. But currently, impact factor is the most dominant one, as well as the H index. Okay, so there are so many type of metrics, and this matrix is available so that the database owner can market their database, can make a lot of money. They go to the university or to the government, they lobby. Please use our database as a reference point. Why? Not just because we only provide you search engine, but we can also provide you information, because we do have a number of journal metrics such as impact factor, age index, site score, blah, 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 and blah. This is how they market their database to the government, to the universities. And now it's become a common practice. It's become a common practice for the universities or even for the lecturers to use all of these metrics to show off, to show, oh, I'm the best lecturer in the world because I have so many impact factor. My age index is a 300. So, yeah, less humble professors these days. What to say? Because long time ago, people acknowledge you because of your impact. People knows you because of your works. But these days, you want people to know you based on the metrics. That's quite different. Okay. So, you have to understand that under Scopus, there are 3 main metrics. Under Web of Science, 3 as well. Okay. In the journal citation report, each journal will receive impact factor, eigenfactor, and AI. But impact factor is the most recognized one. Nobody care about eigenfactor and AI. But in Scopus, every single publication will receive site score, and site score is actually similar to impact factor. Quite similar, actually. Then we have the SNIP. SNIP is basically site score that has been normalized according to the field. SJR has been normalized according to the source. I will explain later. Okay. Sorry. So we go one by one. Okay. So, remember, not all journals under Web of Science will receive impact factor, AI or N factor. Only, and if only the journal is accepted into SCI, SSCI, then the journal citation report will be available to report all these metrics. Unlike Scopus, Scopus give the assessment to every single publication in their database. Okay. So how do we calculate impact factor? Okay. I hope you understand what is impact factor. Before that, may I ask you if, let's say, your friends, okay, your friend, because during this enhanced movement control order, they don't know where to go, they just visit you, and then they just simply say that, Osman, do you know that I have just received email saying that my manuscript has been accepted to be published in a Q1 journal, and the impact factor is 2.4. The first thing you want to do is to kill your friend, am I right? Such a prick. You are super you are super stressed because you cannot continue your laboratory work. They shut down the lab for 2 weeks, and now you have friends who keep telling you the impact factor of their papers. Okay, 2.4 impact factor. Can someone tell me what does it mean? 2.4. Can you tell me what is 2.4? Anyone, give a try. You are doing PhD right now. You should know this. Your supervisor should explain to you during your first meeting. What is 2.4 impact factor? What does it mean? Anyone, give a try. No one?
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
It's first, it shows the impact of the journals, and let's assume that there are 10 journals, 10 journals listed in that particular grouping.
Okay.
It shows that among the listed 10, this particular journal is around maybe the second quartile
Okay.
also.
Okay, good try, good try. Good try. Okay. It has nothing to do with quartile because quartile means that you need to make sure that you know the overall list of that particular journal in its respective area. But when it said my paper published in a journal with impact factor 2.4, it means that the publication, the manuscript in that particular journal will receive 2.4 citation per year. 2.4 citation per year. Of course, you cannot get 2.4. It's either 2, 3, but this is the average. This is the average citation that you will receive. So if you have impact factor like impact factor 35 medical journal, it means that if you can publish in this journal, a year you will receive 35. Impact factor 0.9, quite low, okay, means that you will receive a year 0.9. Impact factor 0.5 means that you will receive one citation in every 2 years. Okay. Do you get it?
So yeah, the
Yeah.
higher the impact factor, the more the strength of the paper, right?
Sorry?
So the higher the impact factor, the more the strength of the paper, right?
It means that the higher the impact factor, the greater chances for you to receive citation. Strength, I'm not sure because it can be manipulated. But to me, from mathematical perspective, if 2.4 means that 2.4 as opposed to this means that if you have your paper published in this particular journal, you will receive more citation in a year as compared to this from average point of view. Am I answering your question?
Yes, sir. And when a
Yeah.
paper has a lot of citations,
Sorry?
when a paper has a lot of citations,
When or why?
if a paper, for example, sir,
Okay.
if a paper has like a lot of citations, does
Let
that qualify? Does it qualifies that paper to be like more strong and as more strength, as in you can use it anywhere? And
very hard to answer your question. Okay. For instance, when 2.4, I said 2.4, it means that you will receive 2.4 citation per year. It doesn't mean you will indeed receive 2.4. No, that is the average. Means that you have greater chances to receive citation in this particular journal, in this particular, as opposed to the bottom journals, 0.9. But it doesn't mean just because you have your paper in this particular journal, that doesn't mean you will receive less citation. Okay. Sometimes, because this is average. This is average. I have published papers, my papers in a Q1 journal, impact factor like 2.5. But on average, when I count by myself, I only receive citation like 6 citation after 10 years. So see, it's below average. So it doesn't give you 100% assurance that the impact factor will represent the exact numbers of citation you receive. It just gives you the potential. And yes, of course, you can say that the manuscript is of high quality because it is published in much greater impact factor, but not necessarily. Okay, it's not the only indicator. Okay,
okay, thank you.
it's not the only indicator. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to choose the journal, they say, of course, people will look at impact factor and quartile. Because sometimes a different field, for instance, medication, okay, maybe the impact factor is 24, but it is Q4. It's at the bottom in terms of ranking, as opposed to journal in final element 1.2, but Q1. Yeah, because the citation depends on the area. Of course, medication will receive greater citation because a lot of people reading citation journal. Same goes to like civil, environmental engineering and geotechs receive more citation, construction management, as opposed to structural analysis because it's super complicated. That's why you cannot compare side by side you and your brand performance just based on the impact factor. Quartile is much better, quartile. But then people still argue quartile because they say this paper is Q1 because there are only 10 papers in that particular field. My paper Q3 because there are 200 journals in the list of the ranking. So it's not fair. It's very easy to get Q1 because there are only 10 journals. So the argument has no end. Okay. So whatever they try to come up with a solution, there always one side that will argue with the proposal. Okay. Any questions so far? Please ask. Okay. If there is no question, I will tell you how they calculate impact factor. Let's say you want to calculate impact factor of 2016. Okay. So how do they count? So from January to December 2016, they close the account, then they calculate how many citation this, let's say journal A. Let's say journal A received 2,000 citation in 2016. But then of these 2,000 citation, they only count citation that was made to any of the papers published in journal A in the past 2 years from the assessment year. Means that of these 2,000 citation, let's say only 1,000 citation is counted because it was referred to papers published in 2014 and 15. So if the journal received lot of citation, but that citation refer to publication, let's say in 2013, it will not be counted as part of the citation. Okay. So now only 1,000 citation will be counted because it refers to paper that was cited. The cited paper was published back in 2014, 2015. Okay. But the citation was made in 2016. Okay. 1,000 citation. And then this 1,000 citation, the impact factor is counted by the 1,000 citation back in 2014 and 2015 divided by total publication in both 2014 2015. Let's say they have 200 papers. So what's the answer? Tell me, 1,000 divided by 200. What's the answer? The answer is 5.0. So means that if you have your paper published in this journal, you will has a potential of citation 5 citation per year per paper. Any question? Any question? And this will be reported in 2017, June 2017 in Journal Citation Report. Means that they will monitor yearly from January to December 2016. They will count total citation, but they will only cover citation made to the paper published in 2015-14. And then this citation divided by total publication in 2015-16, they will get 5.0, 1,000 divided by 200. Not 2,000 divided by 200, but 1,000. And this impact factor will be published in 2017. Any question?
Very clear.
Very clear. Okay. So next time, when people ask you what is impact factor, you just simply say 2.5 impact factor means that 2.5 citation per year per paper. 0.1 general impact factor 0.1 means that you will receive 1 citation in every 10 years. Am I right? 0.1 citation per year. It means that 1 citation per 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Super low. Okay. So don't be surprised when you go to medical section. Oh, their impact factor is crazy. Engineering, especially civil, average 1 up to 4. Okay. And then if you look into, if you micro look at the cluster, environmental engineering has much higher impact factor, like 3 to 5, as opposed to 1 to 2 for structure. Okay. So if you go to the Web of Science, okay, you go to the Web of Science, if you see that this is view journal information here, that means this journal is part of the JCR. If the journal has view journal information, means that it will receive impact factor. And when you click the view journal information, there will be a box here. And this box will tell you under environmental sciences, there are 210 journals, and this 7.26 impact factor is placed at number 4. So this is first quartile. 2010 means that divided by 4, quartile 1 equivalent to first place to 52.5. Am I right? That is Q1. Yeah. But remember, if the journal is placed under multi-categories, they can receive different quartile. For instance, it can also place under public and environmental health, and there are 161 journals, and this journal based on 7.26 has the second highest impact factor. So this is Q1. Okay, this is journal citation report. This is what I said, JCR. This. Okay, you go to the Web of Science, you need to look for this journal citation report. Any questions so far? Clear?
So the question,
Yeah.
so, maybe in the second session, are you going to
Yeah.
maybe pick a paper and demonstrate all these things for us?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I am the best lecturer in this room. Okay. I will skip eigenfactor because it's not important. But if you ask me what is eigenfactor, so eigenfactor is also in the JCR. Same goes to the article influence score. So basically, first they have to calculate the eigenfactor, and then they can calculate the AI, we call it article influence score. So basically, article influence score is used to normalize the impact factor. Okay, normalize the impact factor, because when they want to measure the impact, the impact of that publication, but people will argue in regards to the impact of the area, the impact of the area. So they want to measure the average influence per article of the papers published in journal. So they try to normalize, try to correct the whatever shortcoming of the impact factor. But having said that, it's quite complicated, and people still prefer the impact factor. But you can get the eigenfactor and also article influence score in the JCR. Okay. Okay. So now we go to site score. Site score belongs to Scopus. Okay. People keep wondering why they don't use impact factor as well. The impact factor name is patented. It belongs to Clarivate Analytics. So Scopus, they have to beat Web of Science. But their action was quite late. It was too late for them to persuade institution or even the Ministry of Higher Education of any countries that they approach to recognize their site score, because impact factor has been worldwide accepted as the best instrument available, not the most reliable one, but the best and the most practical to measure the impact of publication. Okay, but they still wants to compete with Web of Science, so they come up with the site score. Do you know what's the difference? Site score? You will laugh. Okay, sorry. Where is the? Let me check. Where is the? Oh, okay, it's not functioning. It's got. Oh, what happened to my? Oh, my touch screen. My touch screen is not working. It's okay. So I can no longer right on my screen, but it's okay. Let me check. Okay. Oh, where? Yes, here. Okay, if you look here, if impact factor calculate the number of citation received by that publication to any manuscript published in the previous 2 years. Okay, but for site score, previous 3 years. That is site score. Similar. Okay, first they calculate how much impact, how much citation the journal received in 2015 that goes back to paper published in the previous 3 years. They just tweak a bit so that Web of Science cannot sue them, because the way they patented the formula, I mean the Web of Science, they said A divided by B, and B must be papers published in the previous 2 years. So SetScore said that, okay, we know how to, if you cannot beat the game, you just simply play around. Okay, so we said that science score, we calculate the impact based on publication that received citation in the previous 3 years. See, that is the game. So that is site score. Basically, site score and impact factor are the same, almost comparable, not so much different. But it was too late for scopers to have their metrics to be recognized. Even until now, the government only recognize impact factor. So that's why I advise you not to declare your scopus paper, but with their respective metrics by saying it's impact factor. No, it is site score. Do not put the word impact factor of your Scopus Index journal. Please don't do that. It will give such a bad impression. Okay. Any questions so far? Regarding site score times by impact factor. Anything? Any question? Okay. So 3 years. This is the site score. I use my mouse now to write on my, to sketch. Okay. Any questions so far? All right.
Hello,
Yes.
Professor. One
Yes,
question.
yes.
So, sir, about impact factor and science score.
Yeah.
If let's suppose I publish a paper in a journal in 2019, and
Yes.
in 2019, its impact factor is, let's suppose, 2.5.
Yes.
So, in the whole life, I will represent its impact factor as 2.5, because the impact factor
Yes.
vary.
Yes. You cannot use the impact factor is very dynamic. So when you want to report your impact factor, you must report impact factor based on the year of the publication. You cannot change. That's why one of the students comes to me and say, "Sir, 5 years ago, my journals, the journal that published my paper was Q4. Now it's Q1. Can I declare my paper Q1?" I said, no,
Oh,
cannot.
okay,
You cannot put in your CV, you cannot declare it's a Q1. What happened if 5 years ago it was Q1 and then 5 years later it's Q4? Then the student said, okay, I'll stick to Q1. How come? So it's
Okay,
super
thank you.
dynamic. So means that you cannot, means that's why it's important in your CV to declare the quartile and the impact factor based on the year of the journal citation report, publish the result. Clear?
Oh, okay, thank you. Clear. Very
Yes. Okay. So currently, for instance, you have your paper published in 2000, let's say it was published last year in 2020, am I right? And it was 2.5. So basically that 2.5 does not belong to, because that 2.5 last year was belongs to 2018. Okay, 2000. So means that in 2019, sorry. So in order for you to update your CV, okay, your paper was published in 2000, let's say, sorry, 2019. Okay, so then the assessment of the citation will only be reported in 2020. Okay. So means that you have to refer to the journal citation report a year after your paper was published. Okay. All right. So that is okay. And then previously I said that Scopus, instead of site score, they also provide SJR and SNIP. Before I go to HINET, I want to explain what is SJR. It's quite similar to, sorry, where is the pointer? Oh, okay. It's similar to AI. Why AI is introduced? Because they try to correct the shortcoming of impact factor. Same goes to SJR and SNIP. They try to correct the shortcomings of site score. What is the shortcoming? Okay, let me tell you one thing. Sorry. I just make this simple. I don't want to complicate my presentation. Okay. First, source normalized impact per paper. SNIP is basically similar to impact factor or site score, but it has been normalized to give a greater fairness to the paper. For instance, if I have paper published in environmental engineering, okay, and I receive one citation, under impact factor, that is counted as one. Am I right? One citation, it counted as one. That's under site score rule. But then, under SNIP rules, that one citation will be multiplied with weightage factor. This weightage can be less than one, can be more than one. Less than one means that the area is super well known, means that you can easily get citation from that area. So let's say my paper is under environmental engineering, and every time I receive one citation from environmental engineering journal, then that one citation will be converted into like 0.3. So in order to get one full citation, I need to have 4 citations because my area is super common. But then you have your friends doing study on, let's say, on structure analysis, finite element, microscopic behavior. The area is super complex. So when he receives one citation for his paper, that one citation will be multiplied with factor like 3. Means that one citation will be equivalent to 3 citations because of the rarity of the area. Okay, this give them, this is how they normalize the impact. So site score and impact factor doesn't give justice when it comes to the impact of the field. Okay, so that your friends from environmental engineering can brag about how good, how high the citation is. Even my friend from environmental engineering has triple citation than me. First, because he's better than me. Second, because his area received more citation as compared to my area. My area is structure reliability. Only a handful of journal available. Only 4 journal available talk about reliability engineering. But my friend environmental, it has more than 2,000 journal talking about environmental engineering. So one citation that he received may be equivalent to 0.3. One citation that I receive equivalent to 3 or 4, depends on the weightage. So that's how they try to normalize. Based on the subject field. If you look here, they try to normalize based on the potential of subject field. Okay. And if you go to the SJR, similar to the SNIP, try to correct the impact factor and they say that if you receive one citation from highly recognized journal, that one citation will be equivalent to like 4 citations. Or if you receive one citation from a low ranked journal, that one citation could be equivalent to 0.2, for instance. So they try to normalize your citation based on the source because they think it's not fair. It's not fair if you have lower site score or impact factor just because of the numbers. but at the same time, the low number of your citation coming from world-class journal, as opposed to your friend who receive a lot of citation, but most of them coming from low-class journal. So they try to normalize. Okay. So any questions so far? Any questions so far regarding the difference? Okay. The side score and the side score and the impact factor has some shortcoming because they do not consider the effects of the source, the reputations of the journal that cite your paper, and also the impact of the area. Okay. The nuclear engineering should give more weightage as opposed to construction management, for instance. Okay, they have all the data. Any question before we go to the final topic, which is H index? Any question? Okay, any question? Any question? H index? Sorry, H index. If you go to the Scopus, you will see here. Okay, this is the report on your right. Sorry. Oh, okay, this here on your right. First, they have 66.45, means that this is a cancer journal for clinician. So don't be surprised. Medical journal means that one paper will receive 66 citation per year. But then when they normalize according to the source, they found that the side score reduced by almost half. It means that most of the citation coming from not so world-class journal. So when they normalize, the side score value reduced to 32, means that based on the source, the potential citation is only 32 citation per year. But when they normalize according to the area, they found that even the value also reduced to 50.569 because this area is quite common. The cancer journal is quite common. Okay, so there are three metrics there. All right, but all these three metrics is not recognized here in Malaysia. In Malaysia, I mean that if I'm a I want to apply for professorship, I cannot use all these metrics. If you want to apply job as a lecturer in UTM, if you put in CV, nobody care. Here in UTM, not worldwidely, in UTM. You have to understand that. We still prefer impact factor from the Web of Science. Okay. Any question before you go to the H index? Sorry. Any question? Any question so far? No question?
No question. No question,
Yeah.
sir.
So far, so good. Have you learned a lot so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope this topic can give you a lot of clarity. Okay, so that in the future, every time you want to submit, now you have the, you can prepare yourself because so many terms used by the publisher, it can confuse you. Okay, the last but not least is the H index. Okay, H index is used by the journal, but mostly used by the academician to show how good they are these days. Sometimes they have no intention to tell people about their H tag, but the university display their H index for the reputation. Okay, like I have H index 15, my friend 21. What does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? 20, 30. Our vice chancellor, Dato' Ahmad Fauzi, I think is 50. I think H index. Okay, and H index depends on different sources. Different sources means that we have H index based on Google Scholar, based on Web of Science under Publon, and based on Scopus. Which one H index that you need to refer to? If you ask me, the best one is Google Scholar because Google Scholar, it count the H index based on citation from all type of citation. If you calculate H index based on Scopus, they only calculate that your H index based on citation made by Scopus index publication. All right. So if your paper is cited by journals that is not indexed in Scopus, it won't be counted. Same goes to Web of Science H index. They only count the H index based on citation made by the publication also listed in Web of Science. Okay. But in terms of the recognition, UTM use H index by Scopus. UTM. Okay. So in your CV, it's better you need to declare. Let's say my H index is 20. Put a bracket, Google Scholar. Then the second H index is 14. Put in bracket, Scopus. H index is 12. Put in bracket, a Web of Science. Okay. That's how you put in your CV. And what is H index? Basically another metric to quantify your output, scientific output of an individual. So I'm talking from the individual perspective. So if you have H index 10s, what does this mean H index 10s? You have 10 H index. Sorry. What does it mean 10 H index? Okay. Anyone to try? What does it mean 10 H index? Like this one. This is H index 3. Why H index 3? H index 3 means that there are 3 publications. Remember, this is H index 3. 3 publications that receive at least 3 citations. Okay. If H index 20, there are 20 publications that receive at least 20 citations. In this particular case, he has many publications, but on how many, why he got H index 3? Because he has 1, 2, 3 journals that receive at least 3. That's why H index is 3. Okay. The fourth one is 1. So you cannot say that this is H index 4. H index 4 means that 4 publication with at least 4 citation. In this case, 3 is the most accurate one. But when I change this one to, let's say, 4, so this will become H index 4. Okay, now let's say I change this to 6. What is my H index now? Please count for me. What is the current H index now? What's the answer?
5.
5. The answer is 4.
4.
Because if you say 5, don't worry. There is no right or wrong answer. But if you answer 5, what does 5 mean? 5 means 5 journal with 5 minimum citation. Let's see how many journal with 5 citation minimum. There is only 1, 2, 3, 4. So means that only 4 journal with 4 citation. But then I changed to 1. I changed to 1 here. Okay, now what is my H index now? What is my H index now? The answer is still 4. Still 4. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 journal, 4 journals with minimum 4 citation. Okay, with minimum 4 citation. But let's say I change this to 5. What's the H index now? The answer is 5. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even if these guys receive 2,700 citation for one journal, it will not change the H index. This is why people argue H index doesn't reflect let's say you have only published 10 journals, and of that 10 manuscript, of that 10 manuscript, only 2 manuscript receive citation. How many? 2 million citation. Each one 1 million citation, second manuscript 1 million citation. So your total citation is 2 million. You are world class. But in terms of H-index, your H-index is 2 only. Because 2 journal with minimum 2 citation. The rest 8 receive 0 citation. So sometimes H-index doesn't reflect the quality. It just reflects the quantity. Okay. Any question regarding H-index? Any citation?
So if I get it clear,
Yeah.
H index, the number of journals determines the H index, not the citation, right?
Sorry? Repeat
I
again.
said, if I get you clear, the number of journals determines the
You want to
H index.
declare, your H-index, okay?
I said, sir,
Okay.
H index, when you have like 10 journals in Web of Science,
Yes.
then you have 200 citations.
Yes.
It means your H index is 10, right?
Nope.
Okay. That's why I want to.
No. You don't have to count yourself because the web will count. If you have 200 citation, that 200 citation only go to one manuscript only instead of 10, then your H-index is 1. Just 1. Because that all 200 citation just go, because H-index 1 means that one journal with at least 1 citation. So if you have 10 papers and only one papers has 200 citation, what is your H-index? It's 1.
Okay.
See? That's the politic. I call it
Okay.
politics. So that's why don't be in despair when you become a lecturer. Oh, my H-index is low, because that's not the only indicator.
Okay.
It's not the most reliable one, but it's the best that we have currently. Like for instance, myself, I have 15 H-index. Scopus means that I have 15 paper with at least 15 citation per paper, at least 15. That's all. That's it. But my other friend only 7 H-index, 7 papers with minimum 7 citation. But total citation, his total citation is more than me because he has one paper that has 1,000 citation, for instance. So in terms of quality, he beats me. In terms of quality, in terms of on paper, it looks like I am more superior than him, but it's not fair. Can you see that? So don't get too overwhelmed by all this number. As long as you understand how to use that, don't use that to undermine your friends, patronize your friend, to show off on your Instagram. To me, it's not the right one. You can still use that, but use that wisely. Okay. Any more question regarding H-index?
Very clear.
Okay. Very clear. Thank you. So basically, it's a fairer also simply counting total papers of time cited. It's a popular performance indicator used widely by scientists. It's considered fair. They said it's fair because it discounts the disproportionate weight of highly cited papers. It's easy to compute. Okay, but it has some limitation. Academic discipline differ in the average number of references per paper. Yes. Length of academic career will impact the number of papers. Yes, of course. If this guy has greater H-index because he has served for 20 years, so you cannot compare these professors with the young lecturers. And also different pattern of co-authorship in the individual highly cited papers may not be accurately reflected in H-index. Means that you publish not so many papers like your colleagues, but every time you publish your papers, that paper receives very high citation. But this will not be reflected in your H-index. Similar to my example, when I compare myself with my friend, he has 7 impact H-index, I'm 15. But his citation for a number of his papers are much greater than me. Okay, all right. If you go to Publons actually a website like Facebook that used by the Web of Science to publish the impacts. Okay, so they have this like this. This guy is crazy, man. 63 H index. He has at least 63 papers with minimum 63 citation per paper. But the good thing about Publon, they also recognize you as editor and also the review process. If you ask me in the future, Publon H index will be the most reliable one. So please open your account, Publon. Okay. So yeah, this is another one. H index 60. Okay. If you go to the, this is for, sorry. This is for the, let me check. This is for Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking has 60 H index. 60 H index. The average H index Scopus, this is belong to Scopus. For professors in UTM is 13 to 15. That's the average. That's the average. Okay, and this guy, see, he has 4 H index. Why? Because he has 1, 2, 3, 4 publication with minimum 4 citation. So the H index is 4. The number must match. The number of publication with minimum citation must match. This will become your H index. Okay. This will become your H index. Oh, very terrible. Try to use my mouse to write. Okay. So if I change this to 6 and this is 5, so you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 publication with 5 citation. That is your H index, 5. This number and the bottom one must match. That will become your H index. Clear? So if this guy, the first paper next year is become 1,133 citation, what is his current H index? Still 5 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say this become 2,510. This is 1,115. This is 54. This is 20 million citation, but he still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 papers. What is his H index? Still 5. No matter what. That's why people keep arguing. If you die, no more papers, your H index will remain the same. Remain the same. If there is no more papers. Okay. Okay, thank you. Before I end my presentation, let me demonstrate. Okay. Let me show you demonstration. Okay. First, you can go to Elsevier. Can you see my website? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Elsevier. They try to help you to understand. So if you go to any journal, okay, let's say Journal of the American College of Surgeons, they have listed all the metrics from Web of Science and Scopus. For instance, the Scopus one, okay, the Scopus one is 7.8, okay, 7.8. And it is the quartile is 98%. Man, this is Q1. Scopus did not use Q1, the word Q1. It used percentile. Means that if it's between 75 to 100, that is Q1. Okay. That is side score. But then what people care the most is impact factor. Impact factor is 4.59, much greater, much lower. Okay. But then we see the normalized one. Remember the side score is 7 point something. Then normalized based on field area. Oh, much lower, 2.0 only. because maybe this area, the surgeon's area is common. And based on the sources, 2.09 as well means that most of the article was not cited by the top ranked journal. Okay. So this is where you can get all the even the Elsevier for this particular journal under Elsevier. This journal, actually, Journal of American College, is both indexed in Scopus and also Web of Science, Core Collection, SCI. That's why the Elsevier can list all the metrics there. Okay. So this is what we call Journal Inside Elsevier for whatever publication in Elsevier. You can use third-party website that can list the metrics, but sometimes the metric is not updated. So you can use Elsevier, for instance, or any other third party. Okay, let's go to this is PSZ, our library. There are so many databases here, see? But if you want to go to Web of Science, this is Web of Science, okay? You click Web of Science, then you get the, let me check. Okay, so this is Web of Science. So you have to put your, but you cannot see. First, I have to stop sharing because you cannot see my, let me, sorry. I hope you have your acid, okay? You need that. Just give a wait. Sorry. Super slow. Okay, now I share my screen. Can you see now my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now see, this is Web of Science. See, Web Science Core Collection. There are many Web Science Core Collection, Korean, Russian, cello, like library, multi-story buildings. We go to the website Core Collection, so you can find based on topic. Okay, give me one keywords. One keywords.
Natural
Electricity.
fiber.
Sorry?
Electricity.
Natural fiber.
Fiber. Natural fiber. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Natural fiber. Okay, give a try. Remember, Web of Science or Scopus is not a place where you can download your papers. Okay, let's give a try. Is it under topic or I think it's better topic? Research.
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, super slow. I don't know why. Okay. All right. Okay. Choose which one do you want. I will click for you. Okay, let's say we choose the first paper. Okay,
Okay,
this is the paper. Journal of Wildlife Biodiversity. I don't know. Okay, let's click this paper. You click this paper. Okay, then what you see now? Oh, you have the title. Am I right? You have
Yes,
the
sir.
author. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What's the impact factor? What is the impact factor? Where is the impact factor? Can you download this one? Nope, you cannot download this one because Web of Science is not the place for you to download. To download, you need to go to.
What about this free full text from publisher?
Yes, you need to go to the publisher or you can get from the Science Direct if subscribed by UTM. Here, okay, how to know that this journal, Journal of Wildlife and Biodiversity, how to know that this journal actually is in SCI, Science Citation Index, that received the JCR. If you see there is no link here to JCR report, means that it has no citation. So how to know this? Okay, it has no citation here. So how to know this? You can go to the journal master list. Okay, let's check journal master list. Okay. Okay. How to make this go up? I just want to. Sorry. Okay, that's good. That's much better now. You can go to the journal master list. Let me. I cannot see my. Oh, I hate using this. Okay. Journal master list. Okay. Okay, Web of Science Master Journalist. You doesn't have to use your acid tool. Okay, so let's check. Okay, we go back to the Web of Science. What is the name of the journal? Journal of Wildlife Biodiversity. And what's the problem? We cannot find any impact factor, but it is listed in Web of Science. Okay, let's check the topic. You go to the journal. Ah, man, I hate this one. Okay, man. Okay, let's check. So we just simply paste. Ready? We search the journal. We just want to see the status. Okay. Yes, we found that. We found the journal. Okay. Now you see here. Can you see here? What is it?
Imagine.
Emerging
ESCI.
Yes, that's
Yes, sir.
why it has
Mm.
no impact factor. You can go to the journal master list. Journal master list is under Clarivate Analytic, but you can
Okay.
access that without using your ACID. It's not part of the Web of Science. So it's just simply a website. You go there, it solves your problem. So then, okay, no wonder. It's under core collection. If you go to the Web of Science, it's under core collection. Okay? It's listed in Web of Science, but there is no report. Okay, let's check other journal. Can we do that? We go to other journal. Okay. Let's go back. We choose, oh my God, super slow. Okay. Let's say this one. Okay. This one. The third one. Aha. Can you see this? Can you see this link?
Journal
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah. This is JCR. This is Journal Citation Report. You click JCR. See? Q1.
Wow.
Q1.
Engineering Mechanical Q1. Why? Because of 130, it placed 5th place.
5
Yes.
of 130.
Yes. And impact factor is 6.71. Means that there is a potential to receive 6.4 citation per year. If you if you don't trust me, you just simply copy this one and then go to the master journal list
Journal master list.
and you paste and you search and see Science Citation Index Expanded, SCIE. It has impact factor. That's the difference. Okay. That's the difference. Any questions so far? That's the end of my lecture. So now you know the tricks. Okay. Now you know what is JCR, what is Web of Science, what is core collection, what is corpus, what is H index, what is site score, what is impact factor. You can rewatch my videos. This will help you to understand the whole process. This will make you a better researcher. Okay. The awareness about what is happening around you. Don't just simply sit in silo and just focusing on doing your research. People will scam you. Okay. Predatory journal will scam you. Okay. Any question before I leave the session? And we will meet again at 2:30. Okay. 2:30, it will be consultation process. Means that after lunch, we are going to talk for almost 2 hours about your topic. And you can share with me the part that you struggle the most. And I will help you. But this morning session is about journal indexing. So you have 5 minutes to ask me any more question regarding journal indexing.
Okay. So is there any attendance?
Just kill me.
Just keep on laughing, sir.
Don't disturb prof. No attendance.
Kill me. Just kill me.
Just laugh over it, sir.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Next.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
Now, why are they laughing? What is the problem, sir?
Oh,
Maybe you know with us.
You made my day. You made my day. Okay. Any more question?
No questions, sir.
Okay.
Permission to go and pray for the morning prayers.
So yes, please. Don't worry. You can leave the session. No problem. Okay. So any more question from the rest?
questions.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I hope you're satisfied with the content. This is the first time I introduce this content. I hope you have learned a lot of things in regards to journal indexing. My intention is to improve your self-awareness in regards to all the terms related to journal indexing, because you need this, okay? So please share with your friends who are not registered these courses, okay? It's good to spread the message. And I wish you all the best. See you again 2:30. Prepare to have a lengthy conversation for 2 hours regarding your research topic. Okay? Have a good rest. See you back in 2:30 Malaysian time. 2:30. Okay, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.